right, this might be one of the most tragic stories I've reported on. A high school student in Frisco, Texas, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, was stabbed in the heart at a track meet by another student. I'm going to play some footage for you from WFAA, and then we'll play a clip from Fox News showing his mother and his twin brother talking. It's very sad to watch, so we'll get right into it.
WFAA has obtained new court documents revealing how Austin Metcalf was stabbed to death at a track meet in Frisco. Police say another teenager had fresh blood on his finger when they found him at Kirkendall Stadium.
The affidavit shows that when officers arrived, Carmelo Anthony told them he got into an argument with Metcalf, and when the arresting officer said he had the alleged suspect in custody, Anthony replied, "I'm not alleged, I did it."
But Anthony told officers he only acted in self-defense and asked them if Metcalf was okay.
Several witnesses paint a different picture, and Metcalf's father told Matt Howerton he is not buying the excuse.
I had a dream last night, and Austin came to me and said, "I'm okay." It gives me peace. Doesn't mean I don't hurt.
The last 24 hours.
And that, sir, was a dream visitation from your son. So he is doing fine and he's at peace now. So, yeah.
Unimaginable for Austin Metcalf's father, his mother, his twin brother.
Right now, I'm really numb and I really don't feel anything. I just have to function.
Metcalf, just 17 when he arrived at Frisco ISD's district track meet Wednesday. His final breaths taken before 11 a.m., police say, after being stabbed to death by a fellow Frisco ISD student, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, now charged with first-degree murder.
My world's a little shattered.
An argument over where Anthony was sitting while the meet experienced a rain delay sparked a confrontation between the teen and Metcalf. According to arrest paperwork, Anthony sitting underneath Metcalf's team tent. You could see it from the air when we flew over the crime scene. Metcalf from Memorial High, Anthony from Centennial. A witness telling police Metcalf told Anthony to move from under the team's tent because he didn't go to their school. The witness telling police Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, "Touch me and see what happens." Investigators writing that Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move and that Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. When officers arrived, the knife was found and police say Anthony admitted to what happened, but said this to police: "He put his hands on me. I was protecting myself," even asking another officer if what happened could be considered self-defense.
What do you expect? If you're caught, the best thing you're going to do is try to lie your way out of it.
Metcalf's father telling me self-defense is not a reasonable excuse.
The truth will come out. There were too many people that were there that saw what happened. My own son told me.
In Frisco, I'm at.
Before we get to the next video, there's no excuse. You don't stab somebody in the heart. Look, this young man here was just, "Hey, what are you doing on our side? You shouldn't be here." Look, little altercation. If it did play out that way, if there was, some contact and you don't pull out a knife and stab somebody in the heart, you push back, then you break your fellow classmates or whoever, coaches come and break it up, and that's it. You go back to your spot. You don't stab somebody in the heart. And this is very heartbreaking because this man didn't deserve this. And the other guy, you just threw your whole life away because of rage. Why do people have I don't understand the hate inside of people's heart. I don't understand that. So let's keep going. This one is very tough to watch. So this is from the mother and the brother.
It's a terrifying, gut-wrenching, incomprehensible scene in Frisco, Texas, just 20 miles north of where I sit here today. A high school track meet yesterday turned deadly. 17-year-old football star Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the heart and left to die in his twin brother's arms after a fight broke out yesterday. The suspect was allegedly told he was sitting in the wrong seat in the stands of the stadium before drawing a knife and attacking Austin. Police have yet to reveal what led up to that moment, but we do know the other student has been charged with murder. Joining me now is Austin's mother, Megan Metcalf, and his twin brother, Hunter. Megan, Hunter, thank you for being with me today. I can't imagine how difficult of a day, and I have to start with how sorry I am of what you're going through this morning, this afternoon. I think I'd like to just start, I'd love to just start with tell me about Hunter. If you could, Megan, tell me about your son.
I think I can speak for her for a little bit, so she just calms down just a little bit. But as me, I know I'm a little more, spontaneous. I like to do stuff all around and just get out of line sometimes. And, Austin's always was there to check on me and keep me straight so I wouldn't get in trouble and do anything like that.
Hunter and Megan, whenever you feel ready, jump into the conversation. If you never feel ready, that's completely understandable to me and everybody else watching. Hunter, thanks so much for being able to do this today. Just a little more about your brother Austin. From what I understand, I think he has it in his social media bio, 3.96 GPA student, certainly definitely into football. And it looked, when I was looking into him last night, he was very interested in being recruited to play football in college.
Listen, he was very highly recruited, just like coming out of his junior year. He's had a really great year, and everyone on the team, coaches, everyone knew around the area just knew that he was about.
I commend this young man for being holding up strong for his mother. So, yeah.
I did big things in football. But besides his GPA, man, that dude was extremely smart, always in the books. He just came to him real easy, and just him playing with football as well just made him just a great person overall.
Megan, we'll try this again, both of us, and we'll see how far we get. When I read your story last night, obviously this is not about me. I have a 17-year-old son. I live 20 miles south of you. My son's in Frisco every night playing soccer, and we have a lot of friends who knew Austin. So the circles got tight, and this hit really close to home. And I'm just so sorry for you. Can you explain us at all today how you feel? It's just got to be.
Yeah, it's close to home because it's right here in DFW. This happened in an area that I know and I've been to multiple times. And I can drive there and get there in, a very short amount of time. So it's crazy to think that when it happens closer, the closer it gets to you, you feel it more. If something happens in Washington State, yes, you feel bad for it. Then it gets closer and closer. It happens in Texas, you feel bad. But then it was right in your metro area, it hits home a little bit more. That's just how it is.
So the word I keep coming back to, Megan, is incomprehensible. How could this happen at a track meet?
It is. She just took my son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed by mostly our family, but this whole community has really wrapped their arms around us. And if I could say anything to the nation, I would say to make sure that you just hug your babies tight, because you don't know when the last time you get to do it.
Hunter, I know you were there. Thank you, Megan. Take your time. Hunter, I know you were there when it happened. What can you tell us about what happened at that track meet? How could this thing that seems like is not on the menu of possibilities could happen? Again, I was at a track meet, by the way, on Tuesday. This is not something you think could ever happen. How did it happen?
So it was a really bad storm in the morning, and they had a lot of delays. And me, my brother, a couple of kids were walking back from the field house of the middle school, because we attended that middle school when we went to middle school, and we were saying hello to old coaches and catching up with them. And then we're walking back to our stand. We put our tent up so all the bleachers were right there, were not wet from all the rain. We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life. I never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more like higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff, and also try to handle the problem. And yeah.
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is like, because they have personal items there.
A lot of stuff gets stolen, just like that, just precautions and stuff. And our coaches always told us don't let, other schools, like mess with our stuff. Just sit around our tent area. And we set that up for the girls' track every meet we had. So it's just like, he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. And he was it's just a trap.
Well, he was looking for trouble. He was looking for trouble by going over there. He had no business being over there, and he knew that. And I don't know what isn't, if he woke up that morning and said, I'm going to put a knife in my bag, I'm going to cause some problems, I'm going to stab somebody. Was this racially motivated? We don't know. We don't know if that would have been somebody else who stepped in, if it would have happened to them too. We don't know. Apparently these young men didn't know each other. So was it just a vendetta against the team, the opposing side? We don't know. But either way, it was totally uncalled for. It should have never happened. There's no need to bring a knife to a track meet so you can stab somebody. If you want to have self-defense, swing on him. That's it. Go heads up, push him, whatever, and then it's over. There's no need for this. None.
Tragedy, what happened?
And then what happened, Austin? After your brother stepped up, what happened then?
He stepped up over there, asked him to move, got aggressive. He grabbed the bag, and then I whipped my head around, and then all of a sudden I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest, and just blood rushing out. He said, he got stabbed. He got stabbed. First, I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see.
Stop.
Yeah, I understand.
So Will Kane is the news anchor is having a tough time holding it together as well. So
I can't understand.
Yeah, there was. You can see. You can picture what happened when what was coming out of his chest, and
yeah.
Y'all can visualize all this stuff. I don't want to put down my mom right now, but I pushed my hand on there to try to make it stop, and I grabbed his head and I looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave, and it took my soul too.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to ask you one last question. I've seen interviews with your husband, who I can...
Being a good brother, stepping in, trying to save his life. He's going to be traumatized for a very long time. Man.
Here in the side, by the way, I think he's there in the room with you. I saw an interview last night. Okay, someone else. Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
Wonder who that is, and I'm just curious about who that was in the back. Maybe a lawyer or something. I don't know, but anyway.
But I have seen interviews with your husband in the last 24 hours, and it was remarkable to me that I heard your husband say within hours of this that he forgave this other young man, and he got there so quickly. And I honestly don't know that I could, and I just want to see, and I don't know if there's a right or a wrong place to be, especially as quickly as this has happened. Megan, how do you feel on that front today?
I am not like their dad. I am so angry at that boy. It's just not fair. That's all I have.
I understand.
I'd like to say it's forgave, not forgotten, but I'm not at that point yet to forgive that kid for what he did to my brother. Because, 17 years, my best friend, just there in the blink of an eye, I lost him. So I'm not at that point to forgive and forget, but eventually I will. But I pray for his family. I pray that they understand what we're going through as well. I just pray for everybody.
I totally understand where both of you sit today on that front. I don't know that I could either. That's why I found it remarkable when I heard that from your husband. But everyone has to go through this their own way. I just pray that God goes through this with you both and your husband and the rest of your family. And I really appreciate you sharing this story with me and the rest of the nation. Megan, Hunter, thank you. Our prayers remain with you.
Oh man, that's tough. That is tough to watch right there. Can only imagine what she's going through, what this young man is going through. The brother who witnessed his brother die in his arms, trying to save his life. And the father is a great man, you know, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that, have forgiveness in their heart that quickly. Everybody handles things, they handle things differently. The way they feel at the timeline, you're going to forgive somebody for something like this. But I saw he's apparently facing 99 years in prison. Good. 17, be locked up till you're 116 years old. Yeah, you're rotting in jail, in prison. Rightfully so. You deserve that. And these things, I don't know. You don't want to have to be in a situation where you have metal detectors at a track meet, but they will be adding some more security, maybe doing bag checks, things like that, which I think that's necessary. I think that's necessary anyway. I'm all about safety and security and making sure. Look, I don't want to turn things to like a prison or anything like that, but I think having good safety measures at places, at events, is very, very important to avoid situations like this. And I hope this never happens again to anybody. I feel bad for this family, this brother, the mom, the dad, the community, because smart guy, smart young man, worked at a pizza place. And imagine that you get a phone call, you go into work the next day, then you find out your coworker's been stabbed in the heart and died. That's tough to deal with. So I don't know, man. This is a tragic story, and like I said, I'm very familiar with Frisco. Nice city, very, very busy. Lots of nice homes, shops, and it's crowded over there. But hey, these things are gonna happen anywhere, and it's unfortunate that it happened at all. But there's, like I said, there's no need for that. It's evil. That is pure evil in that man's heart. That young man who did this, that's evil and hatred inside of your heart. Why? I don't understand the logic and the reason behind doing something like that. It's if somebody puts their hands on you, if that is what happened, there's no need to pull out a knife and stab him in the heart when we don't have to. Now, if you're on the streets and you're in a life or death situation, somebody comes up to you, you have no other option. Okay, that's one thing. But at a track meet, if the guy grabs you, so what? You push him and you move on. Or you go back to where you came from. You go back to the other side. Go back to where you belong. Go sit with your team, and that's it. Simple. Now he lost his life. This young man lost his life, and the other guy threw his life away. If you're an athlete in a high school, that means you have some kind of ambition. You have to have good grades. In most cases, to play on a team. At least that's how the way I remember it. So you have potential in life to do good things in life, to get a scholarship, to go to college, whatever it is you want to do. You have potential, but you threw it away because of what? Who put this hatred in this man's heart to stab this young man? Like, we don't know if this is racially motivated or not. If he just decided, I'm going to stab somebody today, I don't care who it is, I'm going to provoke somebody from the other side. We don't know. We don't know what he was going through, what led up to that. A lot of questions here to be asked. A lot of questions. I want to know what was going through his head, why he did it, what motivated him. I don't know. It's a lot of questions here, but I will leave that right there. It's a tough video to watch. So yeah, if you liked the video, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there, and enjoy your day.